this is Michelle Greenman, and this is our weekly video. If you guys follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you know that this week was about faith and how faith can help our health, and our health is affecting our faith, even if you don't know it. Today's video is going to give you a little bit more personal information from my blog post this week, which was Prayer, Live Long, and Prosper, based on a study done on prayer and how it affects your health. Feel free to read that, and if you're on that page right now, to read in more detail, because I'm not going to detail everything, but I am going to talk a little bit more personally about how faith and health interact with each other. So let me just review what I did have in my blog post. I gave 5 reasons that faith affects my health, and the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because the researcher actually found that there was a correlation, but the problem he had is he couldn't figure out why. Why is it that, especially they found in women, that women who had some kind of religious belief and practice, that they had a longer life period. And he really talked about the social relations. So in the blog post, I really wanted to give my 5 reasons, and your reasons might be completely different. I don't think that there's a way to have a monopoly on the reasons that your life is different. So if your reasons are completely different, that's completely okay. But these were my reasons that I just, when I was thinking about it, why does it affect me? How am I different that way? These are the 5 reasons that I came up with. So number 1 was responsibility to my Creator to care for my body and mind. And one idea that I guess I get is, if I am here because I was created, then I have a responsibility to take care of this creation, right? Like if somebody gave you a gift, you want to take care of it to show that you appreciate it. So if my gift is my body, or my gift is my mind, I want to take care of it to show that I appreciate it. And just having that purpose that it does matter actually changes the way you want to treat it and take care of it. And I know that there's lots and lots and lots of women out there who have a great deal of guilt when it comes to taking care of themselves. They don't like spending money on themselves. They put themselves last in the family. They leave everything that has to do with them to the very end. This one idea that if I am responsible to my Creator for the gift that He's given me, I cannot esteem something else over it, or I'm not appreciating it as I should. And so it's important to invest your time and money and effort into taking care of it. And that is something that is more important than putting yourself last in a lot of situations. And vice versa. There are quite a few situations where you should be last in the situation, right? You should give first. You should be willing to give. But when it comes to your basic needs, put yourself first. Airplane analogy where, on the airplane they tell you to put your mask on first and then help your child or the person next to you or the elderly person. Because if you don't have that mask on, you're going to pass out before you get to help them anyways. And a lot of women are experiencing that. They're not quite passed out, but they are living a life that is not as energetic and as helpful as it could be, because they're not taking that time to take care of themselves. And that's basic things: making sure you're sleeping, making sure you're stressing less, making sure you're drinking enough water and eating well, and whatever that entails to get you there. So if it's a gym membership, if it's coaching, for example, to really help you put you on track and make you the most important, if it's spending some time away from home, away from the kids, away from work, at a retreat, or getting a massage in the middle of the day, whatever it might be, making sure that you do that is part of your responsibility of taking care of your body and your mind that the Creator gave it to you. So that was one of the things that, really affects me. It really helped me shift my idea of what it is that I was supposed to be doing and meant to be doing with my body and my mind. Number 2 is greater purpose is stress less, for sure. When I start to feel like I'm stressing lots, what I default to now, not before, but now, is that there is something that's going against my conscience or my purpose of what I'm supposed to be doing. And sometimes it's a mind shift, and I just need to change my mind about what it is I'm supposed to be doing. But that greater purpose that I have really, really affects how much I stress. When I start to think about the fact that, some bad things happen, and that is really preparing me more for the purpose that I have to be on this planet, why I'm here, what is the point of stressing about that? That's exactly what's supposed to happen. So that really helps. And if you want to understand more about that, read it in the blog post. Number 3 is desire to care for fellow beings. One of the things that changed for me when I became more religious and started to learn about health is I stopped eating animal products. You know what, even before I started really seeing a lot of stuff about it, I really recognized that it wasn't the healthiest thing for me to be eating, and that times had changed. There are some really simple, clear laws, if you do read the Bible, that are in the Bible that will tell you that right now you should be a vegetarian. And one of them is actually in the blog post, but it's important to really think about how things have changed to this point in time. Number 4 is the less worry that I get, especially from prayer, which is really what the article was about. The first article in the study was about that when you kind of feel like you can kind of unload with somebody who's not going to, you know, bring it back and get you for it kind of thing, you start to worry less. But, you know, when it comes to friends and family, a lot of the times they don't forget what you say. It's hard for them to. You shouldn't expect them to, because it's not human nature for them to be able to take on your burden. But when you feel like you have an opportunity to get your burden off of you and put it on somebody who can really handle it, it really stops the worry. It really helps you to relax. Like everything's supposed to happen does not mean that you are inactive. 5, letting go of bad behavior because of love. And honestly, I'm really happy about the way I wrote this, and I'm glad I got to write this article in general, because it really helped me to even articulate what I'm thinking about my faith. But you know, there's something about love and unconditional love that allows you to let go of things without feeling like you're forced to. And that's something that was really important to me as well. And the reason that I wanted to do this first at the beginning of the year is because it's one of the biggest ways and resources for us to get healthier. When we believe that it is the desire of our Creator for us to be healthy, and that He's explained these ways to us, it gives us a way to kind of relax and just kind of fall into the process. And so it is, of course, a choice. Let's not say that, you know, you have to do it this way. It is a choice. But with some of my clients, they are religiously inclined, and we do take the time to really focus on that spiritual aspect of life and how that is going to affect our health, and how we can draw on that resource to find strength and to find real purpose and motivation for what we need to do. For people who are not religiously inclined, I really get to answer a lot of questions, because a lot of the times when people aren't, it's not because they don't want to. I think most people are probably agnostic. They're not really sure either way, and so they don't know what that's supposed to look like or supposed to feel like. Or I find a lot of the time is that they don't recognize the places where they have been very religiously inclined, because it doesn't seem like all the other religions. So spirituality, of course, is very important, and I really focus on a well-rounded, holistic view when it comes to health, that it should include your body, mind, and soul. And that soul aspect is based on your spirituality, based on that connection, making sure that you're not violating your own conscience, making sure you are doing what you know is right. That violation of conscience is one of the hits when it comes to depression. There are hits when it comes to depression that if you are operating under 4 or 5 of them, you are going to be depressed. But one of them is going against your conscience and your frontal lobe. And it's important that you're not. And so even if don't recognize yourself as a Christian, your conscience is a very powerful thing, and so you want to make sure that you're not violating it, especially when it comes to being healthy. Use that resource to motivate you and to keep you going and to really make you strong in your decision. Let me give you some really hands-on things. Not very religiously inclined, is that you deal with whatever it is that's really keeping you from feeling, really open and clear about things. If you feel guilt, even if you're not religiously inclined, that guilt is going to make you sick. If you feel anger, if you're feeling just jealous or envious, any of these feelings are really going to cause negative reactions in your body and in your mind. And so it's just as important to deal with those. Yesterday I did a talk and I was speaking with a lady, And it was really this feeling, and I asked her, like, what is it about the things that are happening in your life? What do you think about them? What is going through your mind? And the answer she gave me is, why me? Now, regardless if she's, really religious or not, that idea, that thought is going to make it a more difficult experience. If you're thinking, why is this happening to me? Why is this always happening to me? That question, it brings up so much turmoil. And what I shared with her is my belief is that we are not given more than we can handle, and that everything that happens to us is preparation for something that is greater and significant, that we need to be faithful with the little things before we're faithful with the big things, and that if we can't pass these tests, we'll continue to get them until we can. And that's not to hurt us, that's really to prepare us and to have good things happen for us, so that if she continued to be thinking, why me, she's going to continue to have things happen and continue to really get upset about it. Bad things happen to everybody, good things happen to everybody. And it's what we focus on that really becomes the foremost in our mind, and the big, factor that seems to be overtaking. So really to focus on what's positive, what's happening. What I suggested to her was to think of it as, because it's me, it's happening. Because I can handle it's happening. It's happening to me because if it happened to somebody else, they might die. And I'm not going to die. I'm not going to be crushed under this. And that idea, that just that change when it comes to your mind makes it amazingly powerful. It makes it invigorating to know that I'm going through this because there's something for me to learn. There's something for me to take from it. There's something that only I can get from it, that I can share in the future with somebody else who's going to be going through this thing, because we're all really here for that social aspect. We need to be helping each other that way. So when I go through things, and let me tell you, I've been through a lot of things, that I recognize that there are going to be times that people are going through things that are similar to me, and I can share with them the inspiration that I got when I was in that same situation or a similar situation. I can't do that if I've never been through it. It's important. So if you are religiously inclined and you are thinking about getting healthy, I encourage you to use your faith to promote that health. There is so much when it comes to being religious that has to do with our mind and that connection that it has to our bodies, that we need to work it out. If you're not religiously inclined, I encourage you to still follow your conscience, because if you're not, you are still going to have some really negative effects to your health. And to really focus on those negative feelings, really putting them aside, really putting them to bed, figuring them out, even if it's with a coach, to really work out what is it that's really bothering me about the situation. I want to really encourage you. I made a course this the beginning of this year and put it on my website for any of you who are really looking at losing weight and making those mind shifts. I've really made it so that it's not very specific to any weight loss program, so that if you're practicing any weight loss program, you can start to make those changes mentally that are going to help it be more effective. So that is on my website at michellegreenman.com. On the front page, right there's a place to put in your name and email and to submit it. Or you can find it at michellegreenman.com/lose-weight-forever. There'll be a link underneath this video if you're watching this on some other website like YouTube. Or there will be a place for you to put in your name and email if you're reading this on my blog post, that will allow you to start that today. And it runs for a week. It gives you exercises to do every day, and I really made it to be helpful to help really make those shifts that people need to make and they're not making, to really get them to that next level. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will talk again. Feel free to contact me on my website. I have a contact page there. If you're looking in the bottom left corner, there's a way to connect to that. Connect with me on my social media. I'm always putting posts and interesting things on Twitter, which is at Miss Health Coach, or Facebook, where you can find my page. Michelle Greenman is my business page on Facebook. Also here on YouTube, subscribe so you'll get the videos for the next year, and have a fantastic day. Remember to experience wellness. Nobody can explain to you what it's going to be like until you experience it yourself.